Hello. I am here with a very special video. It's very special to me. I don't know if anybody else is gonna be as excited, but for me, I'm pretty excited for this, okay? So if you don't know, my name is Maura. I go to school at Belmont in Nashville, music business. I do some like music stuff on here, some like vlog stuff, and then some reading stuff as well. So today we're gonna be reading. I have had this book since December, and I've been wanting to read it since months before that, but I keep telling myself that I need to be like in a full reading mode for this because I really want to like it and I really think I will. But I'm sort of kind of in a reading slump right now. I read 2 books back to back that I did not care for. I gave them both like 1 star. I'm really hoping that this book pulls me out of it, but I'm really scared because there's a lot going on in this series and I want to make sure that it has my full attention. But I'm going to be doing a reading vlog. I'm going to be reading A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I'm so excited because I've heard such great things about this book and I've had it for months, but I haven't started reading it yet because I had school and finals and everything, so I didn't want to start it and start a series and not be able to get through it. So now I'm finally starting it. I'm very excited. So if for some reason you live under a rock and you don't know what this book is about, I'm just gonna read off the back for you because it's just easier that way than to try to explain it otherwise. So it says, when 19-year-old huntress, I'm not gonna try to say any of these names, kills a wolf in the woods, a terrifying creature arrives to demand retribution. Dragged to a treacherous magical land she knows about only from legends, she discovers that her captor is not truly a beast, but one of the lethal immortal fairies who once ruled her world. It says, at least he's not a beast all the time. Okay. As she adapts to her new home, her feelings for the fairy, Tamlin, transform from icy hostility into a fiery passion that burns down every lie she's been told about the beautiful, dangerous world of the Fae. Sorry, I'm getting into it already and I haven't even opened the book up. But something is not right about the lands. An ancient, wicked shadow is growing and she must find a way to stop it or doom Tamlin and his world forever. I don't even know what kind of trope to like tell you that this is. I just got a package today. I ordered these yesterday. I did not think they were gonna get here this fast, but I ordered fun, cute tabs for my books because I don't annotate my books because I'm just scared of that, and if I give my book to somebody else, I don't want them to like see all of my writing because I feel like I might appreciate that if somebody annotated a book for me, but if I just opened up a random book and it had writing in it, I would be like, hello? I just got some tabs, but I also want to get those like clear sticky notes so I can annotate on them, but I'm not writing directly on the page. So if I decide, okay, I'm done with this book, I'm giving it to somebody else, I can like take the stuff out of it. That's a whole different thing. If you want to see other book stuff that I do that's maybe not video wise, I have a book Instagram account. It's gonna be up here. I just post on it pretty much every single day, like reviews, like quotes from books, recommendations, all that kind of stuff. I'm very excited. I'm gonna set up my little reading station and pick out the tabs I'm gonna use, and then I'm gonna start reading. Okay, this is like a little unboxing. These are all from Amazon. I got them in like a big pack. Oh my god, there's so many. Now that I've got myself sort of organized, it's time to read. Before we even dive in, every time I open a fantasy book and I see a map, you would think that I would feel relief because I'm like, oh, it'll help me visualize. Like, this stresses me out. So I've read a few pages. I have to keep taking breaks because fantasy books can be so draining. I feel like even if I'm really into it, the beginning of fantasy books are always super like ripping the life out of me because it's super detailed and you're trying to get used to like what everything in the villages are and like where everything is and where the character is. So right now I've just read like 5 pages about the character just describing snow. I am trying to not let that rip me to shreds because I just got out of, well actually I'm still in a reading slump. I read 2 books, like I said, that did nothing for me. So I'm trying to make sure that I don't ruin this book because I know I will really like it. So I'm trying not to like overwhelm myself with too much information. So I keep taking little breaks. The detailing in this book is really great. It's just like a lot of details already. So it's a lot to like try to focus on. So I have to keep taking breaks and saying like, okay, this is what's going on, this is what's happening here, but not too much has happened yet. But I have relocated to my room because the lighting's better and it's more cozy, but we're getting somewhere. Okay, listen, I'm in the same spot. I've read like 3 chapters today. I am a smart young lady, okay? But sometimes I think authors just write fantasy books just to make up words. Like, I don't know what half of this means. And I think the only thing for me to be able to retain anything in a fantasy book is to sit here and tell myself out loud what happened in that chapter. So since I've only read a few chapters, I'm gonna like break it down for you guys. I don't want to give you false information, so I'm gonna like make sure that I understand. So basically, the main character goes deep out into the woods, like in a spot where she's not supposed to go because it's very dangerous. She goes anyway, and she sees a deer, and then she sees a wolf. She's gonna hunt the deer, but then she sees the wolf go after the deer. So she takes out her bow and arrow and goes after the wolf to save the deer. Once she goes up to the wolf to like get its fur and like, you know, do all that hunting stuff, she sees the eyes and sees that it's a fairy. She knows like she's in fairy ground. So then she goes home, then it starts talking about her family and how like 8 years ago there was like something that happened in the family, and she basically is like the main person to support and like hunt for her family. So that's where I am right now. Haven't updated about the book in like since I started. I'm this far into it. I need to finish it like tonight because I work tomorrow. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I do like it a lot. I have some tabs in here. It's really good. The beginning of fantasy books are always really confusing though, because she's like, here's all the quotes and like there's all these words that you're like not familiar with yet. I'm like just about halfway. We're gonna go to a bookstore today. I haven't even mentioned like really what I'm doing, but basically my dad came down to visit me. Basically, I picked my dad up from the airport on Monday, and I've been reading a little bit, like 50 pages every night, but I'm not making enough of a dent. But today I'm gonna film a little bit more out in public because we're going to this bookstore, because rumor has it there's a signed version of Icebreaker, which is my favorite book. I'm like halfway through A Court of Thorns and Roses. I went to the bookstore and they didn't have the book, so that was disappointing. But then I was like, it's fine. I don't really want 2 copies of the same book, especially because I'm gonna pre-order Hannah Grace's new book and get that signed, so then I have 1 copy of that, you know? Then after that, I went to this vintage store with my dad, and look, everything comes in like this little vintage like popcorn bag. First thing was a ring that I have on right now that I'll show you, but then I got for 70 cents Jess Mariano's sticker, which is super important to know considering what my next video is gonna be. But I'm gonna put that on my laptop, I think, because it's really small. It's a little Jess Mariano sticker. The ring that I got, I don't know if you can even see it. I'm normally like a silver jewelry kind of girl, but usually rings never ever fit me, so when this ring fit me and it was green, I was like, I have to get it. And I also have a claddagh ring that I wear on this finger that would match really well and look really good. So I need to read as much of A Court of Thorns and Roses as possible because I work tomorrow. I could read on Friday, I could read on Saturday, but I kind of just want to finish tomorrow. I read a little tiny bit more than I did earlier, or from earlier I read a little bit more, so I'm like just about halfway. So I think I could knock out a few pages for sure. It's only 9 o'clock right now, so I definitely could. I am honestly so sad to have finished this book. I really don't know what I can say without giving away this entire plot. So all I'm gonna say is if you like fantasy and you've been putting off reading this for whatever reason, like I was, just pick it up right now. Like, I loved the characters, I loved all of the interactions. All I can say without spoiling anything is that, as I already said, that happens in the beginning, so this isn't a spoiler, because you know like very early on that this happens, is she kills a fairy and basically is brought into their world as punishment, but they're like It's not really a punishment though. Like, we're gonna take care of you and here's all of this stuff that you have to live. And she's like, well, what's the catch? And they're like, well, just mind your own business. And like, that's really it. And then all the other secrets come out about like what's going on there, and you know, like the curses of like put on people. Nothing ever was dragging out. Every single chapter had a cliffhanger, or almost every single one. So every time I was like, okay, I'm gonna finish like this last chapter and then be done. I was like, maybe I can't do that. Oh, I wound up sitting and reading like 100 pages at a time every time I read it. Know people who've read further in the series and everybody loves it, so I'm very excited. This is the fantasy book that I needed right now because I've read fantasy recently and it hasn't done anything for me, and I've honestly been really confused and it has all put me in a slump. And I was in a slump before I started reading this, so I'm glad that it pulled me out. Fantasy can be really heavy and confusing sometimes, so this book was amazing. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I'm gonna do a whole like detailed post on my Instagram for it. I'm really happy with this one. But that's all I have for now. I have a fun video next week that I'm really excited about. Thank you for watching. I will see you when I see ya.